Taylor bringing it in with the low card, 3 of spades. You see Vieira with the split queens and an ace, a couple of diamonds working, made it 200,000, and then Mizrachi with the 3 connected cards, seeking privacy, repopping it to 400. Look at Ben Lamb, 3 wheel cards, makes it 600, and now Albert's trying to figure out what's what. Split kings, he wants in, and he's going to 4-bet it to 800K. Very seldom will you ever see something like this in a stud 8 pot.
Yes, and the reason Albert's entering the pot as a 4-bet is because he wants to get other opponents out of the pot here. Sometimes if Mizrachi's raising with a 4 and a pair in the hole, he'll fold. 4, 5, 6 here, he's not going to fold. This is interesting because in this spot, I expect Joao to fold his queens like he just did.
Even with that ace in hand, the threat of someone being rolled up or having pocket aces is very real. So he steps aside correctly.
And we discussed in stud, when you're prepared to play a pot here on 3rd, look to play a hand on 4th, 5th, 6th, and potentially 7th Street.
Well, 4th Street comes in, 3 players taking it. Both of the low draws have gotten on that draw immediately with Mizrachi. The better low draw and an open ender, a 3 or an 8 to make the straight. 200K ahead, bring us to 5th. One of the 2 kings remaining in the deck with the other already in the bin. Now staring down Albert. He's not going to make trips. He has not improved here. Neither of the low draws get there. Mizrachi barrels. Lamb has to call off the last 75,000 in front of his stack. Side pot will develop. 650,000 between the grinder and Albert. Note, by the way, that a 4, a 6, and a 10 are also all occupied, making it that much more difficult for Albert to make this 2-pair, but he makes it instantly, leading out with the 6s into the side pot.
And it's very interesting to know that when you have a high hand and you're going against 2 low hands, your high hand has so much more value because a lot of times you're going to win. Well, look at this.
Lamb's not going to win as we see him pair the deuce, but Mizrachi, having picked up the spade draw, makes it on the river. Daher checks, and this is a brutal blow.
Wow.
Grinder is going to scoop this one and shed Ben Lamb in the very first hand of this FT, Jared. Jungle Man, Dan Cates, by the way, 2-time winner back-to-back with the second of those victories being so incredibly improbable, given one specific pot involving Ryan Lang, as this pot once again involves Mizrachi with 6s. Daher going to try his luck with a king-jack. Didn't work for Kenny.
I think it's going to be a very long time until Jungleman wins this tournament again, Ali. I would short Jungleman for the next decade.
Any particular reason, Jared, for that? You play with him a little bit lately? You feel like maybe he's not at peak form?
Let's just say I have a little more information than most about Jungleman's game as of late. Now look at this, Ali. Albert, 3 bets to 500K. Okay, he's pretty much all in. Now Joao has an interesting decision here, right? Because, this is so interesting, right? If you're Vieira, because what do you do here, Ali, right? It's hard, you can't really call. I feel like you could either fold or even put a raise in here.
Yeah, the call is so treacherous because the grinder can just come back and put you in a blender if he actually had any sort of holding, or even if he didn't. And not feeling comfortable enough to re-raise, he's going to allow the grinder to ask for the last 50K, and we're off to the races. 1.4 million in the middle, and once again, a player all in and at risk. Ben Lamb got showered when he was in this spot. Daher hoping for a better outcome.
Yeah, I mean, if Joao in this spot were to put more money into the pot, grinder would have folded his 6s.
Ace Jack or something?
Yeah, look at that.
Out of Jack.
Huh?
Out of Jack. 6s as King Jack.
And again, we've talked about Albert's talent of reading hands. He knew exactly what Vieira had.
Oh, more help.
Queen 9-5.
He needs a King
Add
Jack
10s to the cards offering salvation.
Queen 9-5. Queen 9-5.
To 3rd on Lebanon's all-time money list. Updates being given to the rail.
10.
Joker.
Gut shot. Couple of overs.
3.
None of what's needed on offer on this turn.
Good game.
10 outs
no,
with
there you go.
2 missing.
Oh my God,
Game
you
speech.
shouldn't have said that.
Ritual.
That last little thing.
Grinder
Professional.
trying to claim another pelt already. Will the
Will it
chip
work?
leader
Smallest pot of the tournament.
ascend further? Yes, he will.
Good game. Well played.
And I'll tell you what, the path to victory at this final table has been cleared.
Minimum.
Okay, now Taylor has limped behind with 2 hearts and 3 to a straight. No cards that interfere confronting her in terms of 5s, 6s, 10s, and jacks. Now Vieira, 3 suited with the ace and the king, will complete it, giving him some flexibility to represent. Mizrachi split deuces with the ace in there.
Yes, and the thing is the grinder's making a loose call. If his ace in the hole was like a jack or a 10 or a 9, he would fold his deuces. The only reason he's calling is to try and make aces up here, knowing that there's only 1 ace that's been exposed.
To 4th Street we go, 4-handed. Vieira picking up that jack of diamonds, perhaps the prettiest of the 4th Street holdings. You see Taylor pairing her 8. Grinder, that 5 of spades is something that'll keep him interested. Xiao first to speak. The other thing to take note of in stud, unlike in something like Hold'em or a button game, position and the betting lead changes all the way throughout 3rd through 6th Street.
Now Kenny here is leading. I would love to see Ite actually put a raise in here. She has to invest an extra 200. She folds. Okay, I don't fault her for that, but if she was going to enter the pot, I'd love for her to raise and try and get head up.
Well, doesn't she need to be mindful of the idea that some of the limps by Kenny could be the split queens given the presence of the king and the ace? Some of them could be 2 diamonds in the hole, which are looking maybe to get her sandwiched between Kenny and Vieira, who could have split kings. Instead, Joao flats. Grinder does as well. Taylor out of the way. Open jacks now for Vieira. The grinder picks up the ace-high flush draw, a very dusty 5th Street for Kenny, and Joao comes out swinging.
Now here's the thing. This is interesting because Mizrachi has 4 to a flush, but he also caught a jack, and Zhao's showing 2 jacks. And now look at this. Now Kenny actually just folded the best hand, but Mizrachi is now in the lead as a favorite with a pair of 2s and 4 to a flush. Let's see 6th.
Open 5s now. Note that a 5 is also sitting in front of Vieira, so interfering with trips for one another.
Now the fact that Mizrachi called once he saw Zhao show jacks here, I hate this bet by Vieira. Okay, once Mizrachi calls and he's showing a pair of jacks, once Mizrachi calls, Zhao almost never actually has the best hand right now.
The only thing is, as we see Grinder making the ace-high flush here, Vieira failing to improve, but Vieira maybe wanted to buy the ability to represent kings and jacks credibly, whereas if he were to check on 6th Street, even if he feels like Mizrachi has to pair. Yeah, I tend to agree with you here, but I think Vieira's just trying to sell the story of kings up and maybe get 5s and deuces to concede.
And Grinder here is gonna think about it, and he's gonna put a raise in here. He backed into a flush. I want to say this actually. I don't fault Vieira's bet here on 7th because, like you said, Ali, you're 100% right. He wanted a hand like 5s and deuces to potentially fold, which probably would have on 7th. So Ali,
Grinder completing 3 suits for Kenny with the queen.
I would have actually loved for Vieira here to actually open as a complete with his hand. Because now look, he's going to invest all his money here, okay? But if he opened as a complete, then a hand like Mizrachi might have folded that hand, and then he might have gotten heads up against Bryn with a lot better hand here. See, like, I don't like this because now he's playing 3 ways, and his equity goes down tremendously in a 3-way pot.
Well, even if he had repopped it here, Jared, I don't think he's going to lose either player.
No, but what I'm saying is he was to bring in
no,
for 50.
I get it. Yeah,
I would have just actually completed it to 200 with all the money in the middle. If he's not folding, he should apply more pressure early. Instead, it's going to be, he has the best hand, but he's only 45% to win 3 ways.
Yeah, the Grinder, having caught the ace, leads at it again. Vieira now all in. dry side will take shape between the grinder and Bryn. Oh, open aces for the grinder. Diamond draw acquired for Kenny. So we're going to keep this train rolling.
And look at the math here, Ali. Kenny has 4 to a flush, and he's flipping against a pair of aces and 3 to a flush. And now Vieira is most likely to be out of this tournament here.
He hasn't improved.
And look at this. Bryn makes a pair of 9s with 4 to a flush. This is getting interesting.
Looking at open aces, though, of course, Kenny isn't going to be leading out.
And again, they're check. Now here's the thing in this spot. If I'm Mizrachi, he makes aces up, but in this spot, he doesn't actually have to value bet. He knows Kenny most likely has a draw. I would like for Mizrachi to check here, aces up, even though it's most likely the best hand.
And by the way, Kenny could have some 2 pairs, probably not queens up, but maybe something modest wired. Kenny not having improved here.
And look at that, grinder does check, and I like it. Again, aces up in a cash game, I would bet it. In a tournament, there's really no value in betting.
Yeah, I know. I caught the.
And not to be overshadowed, Jared, the fact that Xiao Vieira has been eliminated. Some respect being shown to one of the finest to do it.
Well, play free online poker anytime at PlayPokerGo. No deposits, no risk, just pure action. Jump into cash games and tournaments, and don't miss the brand new No Gamble, No Future themed Sit and Goes featuring the Wheel of Gain. Compete against players worldwide and sharpen your game. Play now for free at playpokergo.com. Available on web, iOS, and Android.
But now Mizrachi, ace-jack 6 deuce.
I would love to see Mizrachi just complete here. I wouldn't want him to put a raise in. Doesn't have a suited ace. I like it. And then Bryn keeping the pot small, the big blind, checking his option.
Looks like Kenny has dipped into that all-in brownie, by the way. Maybe the tank running a little bit lean on a 5th day of 50K action here.
Neither player really flopped anything. It's a very wet texture board. Expected to go check.
That it does. Queen on the turn now.
And
Mizrachi having picked up the Broadway draw. Kenny with top pair. Still has the gut shot.
Bryn here is going to elect to call.
Yep, being asked the question and answering it. 200K a man, another 400 into the kitty. And a board pairing queen completes the diamonds, but does leave Kenny with trips. Ace of diamonds is relevant for Mizrachi.
And here's what's interesting is Mizrachi has the ace of diamonds, right? So I love this bluff by Mizrachi, even though it's most likely not going to work here. Bryn backed into 3 queens here. This
$500,000 bet and called. And that is something we haven't seen a whole lot of, not just Mizrachi losing a pot, but having a bluff instead of a good hand.
But look at the limited experience that Ite has playing shorthanded poker. She's got double suited 8-8-6-4 and limps the cutoff. And again, she makes the wrong decision, but she's probably going to get rewarded.
Well, Andrew with queens and 7s shoots it up to 675. Now, the grinder, ace, king, 10-8 with clubs.
Now, here's the thing for the grinder, right? He has a suited ace with ace, king. I would love for grinder to throw this hand away, because when Andrew raises a limp from a tight player like Ite, he has a hand. I feel like that's the bottom of Andrew's range. A lot of the raises that Andrew has here are hands that have grinder's hand dominated. So I would love to see grinder fold this hand, especially in the small blind. He also has to be worried about Kenny in the big blind as well. And also the fact that Ite has 9 million in chips, she's capable of limping a really big hand there in the cutoff as well. And I really hate this call by grinder. If anything, I'd want to 3-bet and maybe raise to 1.2 million to get head up and get Ite now to fold. I really don't like this play by grinder.
675.
And now you're going to price Ite in to call with a hand that could bury you. And that's what he does. Poorly played pre-flop right now by the grinder.
Listen, he lives and dies by the aggressive sword. Obviously, flat calling is not aggressive, but perhaps speculating and looking to claim Andrew's pelt, as Ye has just $500,000 back in an inflated one, is what's on his mind. It comes ace-jack 9 with 2 diamonds. Here he is with the two-way straight draw and top pair. Comes out swinging right away. Ite with nothing more than the 8 high diamond draw to take any pride in. She's going to peel queens with no flush draw. I mean...
here's the thing, right? Going back to the pre-flop here, if Grinder liked his hand pre-flop, I would have liked him to try and 3-bet or 4-bet and get head up with Andrew here. But now he puts himself in a bad spot out of position against Ite, who's fairly tight.
Well, it would have been a 3-bet because remember, Ite limped and Andrew raised. He would have been third into the pot and perhaps would have shed Ite. Instead, he's going to have to contend with her, but he is outperforming the entire field and Andrew's doing math.
And I'll tell you this right now, Andrew really cannot continue here. He has no back doors.
Oh, but he's going to do it. This, to me, is very dicey and just a man that feels like he needs to gamble, and the shot at this 3.3 million is more important than fighting on with 500K. Not sure that I necessarily agree. It sounds like, Jared, you don't either. 5 of spades on the turn, failing to render any assistance. Dry side pot, it goes check, check. This run out is so safe for this ace-king. And it does get checked down. And with that, Andrew Ye is vanquished in 4th place.
Grinder, I don't think he could have played that hand any worse. And again,
he's now busted every single player thus far at this final table, Jared. Israel loves it. And this is a very significant jump.
Especially if you're not the one winning the pots. And
Second biggest,
the jump.
as to be expected. Almost $300,000. The difference between third and second. It is getting very real out here. Kenney limping the 6-5-4 deuce. Not exactly a choice cut. Does find a deuce, but nothing further. Ite does as well with the better kicker and the diamond draw.
the longer this tournament goes on, heavily favors the grinder. You're going to start seeing Ite have a little difficulty with some of these pre-flop hands, what to do with them. Short-handed poker is a game where it requires a lot of bluffing. You're not always going to make a lot of hands. You have to play a lot of hands pre-flop. Let's see what comes here on the turn as Ite makes a flush. Look for Bryn to check here on the turn. And I would love to see Ite actually check behind here. There's no reason for her to bet a 10-eye flush. She's either way ahead or way behind. I love for her to see a free card here.
We take less pride in flushes when there are pairs on board, and the 10 high diamonds aren't exactly nutted. So a kosher check back.
And I expect Bryn here to check. And in this setting, I think Ite's probably going to check back the way she's been playing, just because she's not been getting value betting. She hasn't been value betting light. She has not shown any real bluffs. Look at this. Kenny's going for chips, Ali. And again, it was a great check by Ite on the turn.
Yeah, she's earned this bluff from Bryn. It does feel like it might be futile, 6 1/4, and the straightiness on the river there, maybe, you know, Bryn perceiving Esther to be tight just removes flushes entirely from her range and decides he's just going to bluff at this with 0 equity.
Ite's going to think for about 37 seconds and call.
How deep are we into those 37 seconds, by the way? I'm not
About
clocking
15.
it. Okay.
Give her about 20 more seconds and
Okay.
she's going to call. And Bryn's going to say, you got it.
Will you eat the banana peel on the desk if she folds?
If she folds, I won't be able to. I can't take it. I can't take it, Ali.
Well, you're seeing exactly why Bryn Kenney made the choice that he did there, as Taylor
I can't take it.
bins the winner. Lost it. I would love to lose it every day.
But you know what's interesting is that as a pro for 20 years, I was always a cash game player, right? And as I've gotten older and I look at all the poker I've played,
right like
Yep.
this. Like,
What's great about poker tournaments is it's so prestigious. Everyone's watching. You know, when you win in a cash game, no one knows about it. No one really cares. These are the moments to me that make poker great. These are the opportunities to invest money and play with some of the best players in the world and compete at the highest level.
Yeah. I would like to invest money and play against the stone worst players in the world for approximately the rest of my life. But that's the cloth from which I'm cut. As you see Kenny with a lot of intel here, a couple of draw threes.
And here's where I would love for Kenny to snow. For those of you that don't know what snowing is a term for bluffing here. He has the perfect hand to do it. Look for Kenny here to be pat. And as I apologize, he's already looking like he's drawing. And again, you're seeing very limited bluffing. A lot of great players with Kenny's hand there would snow. Why? Because he's looked at 3 deuces and he's still taking 2. And the fact that Grinder took 3.
Oh my gosh,
at this.
He makes number 2, and look at how much intel Kenny has. Now, maybe you wanted him to snow on the previous street, but here with 8s and 5s, you could see a case to be made as he barrels unimproved, still drawing 2. And, you know, when your man drawing 3 check raises you, this is a deflating feeling. He's seen 3 deuces, 2 5s, and 2 8s. He might think that what Grinder has is a little dusty.
Now, here's the thing, right? Look at this by Kenny. I could see Kenny. Oh no, the graphic was wrong, Ali. Look at this. He's actually drawing to an 8-5.
Oh, okay. So this is a whole different dynamic. Of course, drawing dead unbeknownst to deuce 3 5 8.
Look at this, Ali.
Draw, and he makes number 5. This is nasty. Against a draw 3, Jared, we have to raise. We never expect a 7. And here we go upstairs with all of that intel. 3 bets, no waiting from the Grinder. And
Yeah, I call. Huh? Number 2.
this is sick.
Wow.
This
Every
is the
fucking
surface
card. I
of
have
the
3 8s.
I'm gonna say this right
3s,
now.
3 5s, and I make a fucking 8 fucking purple.
Grinder's rail loving it.
Ali, for those that don't play draw, that's
What a fucking.
Bryn just ran kings into aces right there.
Wow,
That's the
he got
comparison.
the last of fucking whatever it was, deuce.
Well, play free online poker anytime at PlayPokerGo. No deposits, no risk, just pure action. Jump into cash games and tournaments, and don't miss the brand new No Gamble, No Future themed sit and goes featuring the Wheel of Gain. Compete against players worldwide and sharpen your game. Play now for free at PlayPokerGo.com, available on web, iOS, and Android.
At 9-8 here for Taylor.
Wow. You know what? I would love to see Taylor raise here and not just move in. Her hand is so strong. Make a small raise, Ite, please. Go like 350.
Do you have what behind 900?
Because the thing is, if Bryn
950.
is in the big blind, he's drawn to a 10,
1.1
he's
total.
going to more likely call, but he won't call a shove here. I really want to see Ite do well here. I want to see her get head up.
She open rips.
I don't like it. I really don't. It's just,
675.
it's too strong three-handed.
Look, maybe she would even get action from a draw 2 out of Mike if she clicked. With the 7-6 deuce.
Wow.
Kenny's going to give action, though. He's
Yes,
got
he
a straight
is.
6 and can draw 1 to the smooth anything.
And Kenny, like you said, is forced to call here. He's going to draw a card. Ite's going to be a big favorite here. Only a 7, 8, or 9.
And she's got an 8 or a 9
Yes.
in hand. So interfering
They're all in.
with Bryn's outs, but you see the vulnerability.
2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You need the dodge of 7, 8,
Needs
9.
one draw. She's pat.
You can sweat it. I don't.
Yeah, Kenny's a huge, not a
What's it gonna
huge
be?
dog here, but if I had to guess, he's probably 70,
What's the
30.
bar say?
What do you think it's gonna be?
I don't want to say it. I can't
Come
root. I don't want to root
on.
against none of you.
I agree with Grinder, by the way. It's so hard to root against any of these guys. Wow, and he makes a wheel.
This is awful.
Wow.
Number 1. Look at Ite getting so much love from Bryn and the Grinder. She performed valiantly. Nothing for her to hang her head about. Jared, I think you did a good job of already pointing that out. The deepest run ever for a woman at the PPC, and the chorus of applause is well earned.
Mixed events.
Yeah,
Call.
But Ite, amazing job. You should be so proud of what you've accomplished playing some of the best players in the world for almost 5 days.
Yeah.
And like I said, anyone else with her hands, they would have been out. They wouldn't have made the final table today.
Yeah,
and I want
that's right.
people to understand that and think about that. Is if Ite doesn't break that 10, she's out on day 4 of this tournament.
Yeah. Take pride in what you've accomplished, Esther.
Yeah.
We know we speak for a majority of the poker world as well. You could feel the emotion just beneath the surface for her after such an intense 4 3/4 days. As we see Mizrachi betting with a pair of 4s and Kenney raising it up.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, too, with Ite is she's so good for poker. She's so energetic. She likes to have fun. I mean, poker is really all about having fun.
Now, for a second, I had my No Limit Deuce goggles on here, but this is indeed triple draw. Kenney has made a 9-7 here. The road traveled was a limp and a check back. Draw 2 for Mizrachi, draw 3 for Kenney. Mizrachi's lead, we saw get raised. He called, drew 1 versus Pat.
Now, watch what's going to happen here. Is Mizrachi is going to pat, and Bryn has such an interesting decision here, Ali, because he has a made 9, but he's drawing so smooth to a 7.
Yeah, and the check and raise from Mizrachi suggesting 8 or better. We don't expect this from something like a 9.
Yes, and I'll tell you right now here, Mizrachi, I believe, has announced that he's already pat. If Bryn breaks this, he's going to be probably a 2-to-1 dog to win this hand. All he has to do is pat, and he's doubling up to $3.5 million.
And you see him chewing on it right now. The fact that he drew 3 and then stood pat has a lot to do with why he's thinking about it, because he knows that the grinder is not going to assign him that much strength. It's tough to be smooth after you draw 3.
Yeah. Wait, so Grinder took 3 and made it 10-6.
That's
He took
no,
3?
no. It's Kenney who drew 3 and then made this hand.
Oh, wow. That makes it even more interesting.
Right.
Kenney has such an interesting decision here for his tournament life.
What are you thinking there, Whit?
What do you think?
I don't know.
You're pretty good at that.
Ace high?
Ah. What am I thinking? How tilting it'll be if I break the winner.
All he has to do is pat and lay claim.
What'd you break?
I'll tell you.
9-7-6.
Wow,
That was
he's
good.
No, fuck.
wow.
He broke
Bryn
the winner.
broke
but,
the best hand, Ali.
He broke the winning hand. Now he's drawing one for the
And
win.
I don't really
What do you have?
fault him.
Credit to the grinder for finding the check raise for not even a full extra bet.
Wow.
And now Bryn
He broke a
Draws
9-7-6. Yeah.
for his life
After
in the
10-6-5.
PPC.
He needs a.
If he doesn't make it, it'll be tilting. If he does,
All right.
it'll be extended play. Grinder 1 card away from a 4th PPC
Get that
tie.
card out of there. Yeah.
Bryn squeezing.
Got it? Winner?
Who the fuck cares? You're gonna see it.
Deuces in the end.
Wow.
Michael Mizrachi
Wow.
wins his 4th PPC.
Michael Mizrachi, congratulations. Extremely tough final table. Take me through how you did it tonight once again.
I was just tripping through it. I've been getting a lot of cards. I got lucky a few times. I don't know, but I was playing great. My best poker I've ever played, probably being any 50K. And I held my own. And can't break 4 titles, crazy.
A historic 4 Poker Players Championship wins.
Yeah.
On our broadcast, commentator Jared Blesnick called that outcome the single greatest achievement in poker. What is your response to that?
Well, I'm going to have to agree with whatever Jared says. He's the man.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
I'm
it.
going to present you this bracelet, your 4th title at the Poker Players Championship. Michael Mizrachi, congratulations.
Well, Jared, sum it up for us.
A fairly soft final table that turned into a lot of these players playing great poker today. Grinder came in as a chip leader. A lot of things went his way. Overall, I thought the play today was really top-level poker. Again, Ali, thank you. This was unbelievable. Folks, if you're watching at home, please start playing mixed games. I promise you, you'll love it.
Well, we certainly hope you love the coverage. On behalf of our entire crew here in Las Vegas, I'm my partner Jared Blesnick. This is Ali Najad saying good night, and we'll see you next time from the 2025 World Series.